Okay, the new set was released just a few hours ago, and I think it's a good idea to make like a first impressions of the deck in general. Thanks to Pokemon Zone, we can have like a list of all the new cards, and I'm going to be talking about all of them. So the first thing to notice is that this set, we have a lot of new trainers, specifically supporters. So I think one of the best ways to start the first impressions of this set would be talking about all the supporters and how they affect the game and the Pokemon that they are related to, because most of them are related to one specific Pokemon or two specific Pokemon. So the first of all of them is Acerola. I think that's the way that you pronounce the names. She said you could choose one of these two Pokemons, Alosand or Mimikyu, and you can transfer damage. So if Mimikyu has some damage, you can transfer that to the active Pokemon of your opponent. So is that good or is that bad? Well, it depends. We need to look at both of them, Alosand and Mimikyu. In the case of Mimikyu, I think it is too squishy to survive and makes use of the effect of the trainer. But on the other hand, 60 damage for only 2 energy is not too bad. So I think it is not the best card, but might be useful in some occasions. Alosand, it is too much energy for only 70 hit points of damage, so I don't think it is going to see many play. Also 130 hit points, it is not enough. So sadly, I was hoping that Mickey was a little bit better so we can make an Acerola deck, but it seems that it is not the case. The second supporter that we have here, it is Ilima. And this one is a little bit more interesting to me because it says you can put one of your colorless Pokemon that has damage on it and move it into your hand. And I think that is really important because it gives colorless Pokemons a way to escape. So that is a better way to, remove them from the field without losing points. So you can use these on Arceus, and then you don't lose those 2 points. But other options are things like Kangaskhan, good tank Pokemon on the front line, taking some damage at the beginning, and then you don't have to worry about the retreat cost because you're just going to move it to your hand. So that would be a good thing. Or something like this new card, Beware, because, well, 130 hit points hits really hard for 130 damage, and then if you're in trouble, you just move it to the hand. So that might be useful. So I think we have better hopes with Ilima. The next one will be Kiawe, and this one is one supporter that focuses on 2 specific Pokemon. One is Marowak, the Alolan form of Marowak, and the other one is Turtonator. How do you pronounce that? Turtonator, right? And the way that this works is that you are going to choose one of those and you're going to give them 2 free fire energy. So let's read those 2 cards. So one of those is going to be the Alolan Marowak, and the other one is going to be this one, Turtonator. And I think those are kind of cool options, fast, strong, heavy damage in the early game, but not too many hit points, so they're going to go down fast also. So they're going to be like a similar deck to the old fire type deck that we used to play with Blaine, with Rapidash and Ninetales. This one is kind of similar to that, but the same way, it is too squishy, so I'm not sure it's going to see that much play in the metagame. But I don't think they're about options. The thing is that I think that Turtonator is going to be a little bit better because the damage of Marowak is a little bit too random. Depends on conflict. So yes, you can do up to 140 damage, but that all depends on conflicts. You can also burn the opponent, and that is a good thing because that's 20 damage each turn. So I don't think it is a bad option. I just think it is a little bit too squishy for the metagame. The next one, or the next supporter after that, it is Guzma, and to me this is one of the better cards of the set. And it says, discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon, and that is huge. In one turn you can remove every helmet, every cape. That can change the game so much. If you have ever played the mirror match of Giratina versus Giratina, removing capes and helmets change the game completely. So I think this one is one of the best cards in the entire set, and I think you should be looking for 2 copies of this card. Next we have Lana, one of the cards that I was expecting a lot to be like really good, but depends on the card that we're going to talk about next. And that one is Araquanid. So it says you can use this card only if you have Araquanid in play. It doesn't have to be in the active spot, and that is important. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, so it is a more precise and better option than Cyrus or Sabrina because it doesn't have that many conditions, and you choose, not your opponent. So it all depends. It will be worth it if Araquanid is good. And now the question is it good or is it not? Well, we're going to find that one right here. Araquanid, 110 hit points and 1 attack, 3 energy, 60 damage. Plus, if the opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, this attack is going to deal 60 more damage, so it can deal up to 120 to many basic Pokemon. And that is important because many EX Pokemon are basic Pokemon, so this might be really important. It is still a little bit too squishy, but I think that the way you're going to play this card is you're going to start with something like Manaphy on the active spot, and you're going to give energy to this card in the back, and you're not going to use it to attack, it's more to use the effect of the trainer. And then if at some point the active Pokemon dies and you notice that the opponent's active Pokemon has less than 60 damage or it is a basic, you're going to move this to the front, or you're going to take advantage of the trainer skill. So I don't think it is a bad option, it's just that I'm not sure how are you going to play this card, like which other Pokemon are you going to choose other than Araquanid. So I think it's going to be like a decent option, but it needs a lot of test play to confirm if it is going to be good or not. So the next one is going to be this guy, Sophocles, and this has like a similar effect to, Giovanni or Red, increase the damage of some specific Pokemon. In this case, the 3 Pokemon that you're going to see are Golem, Vikavolt, and Togedemaru. So 30 plus damage, that seems a little bit good, right? But depends if the Pokemon are good or not. So we're going to start here with Golem, and I think Golem has a little bit of a problem because first it is a stage 2, and I know Rare Candy it's supposed to fix a little bit of those issues, but other than that it needs 4 energy to attack for 150. So there are other Pokemon in the game that can hit for the exact same amount of damage for less energy, and that are not stage 1s or stage 2, so they are more consistent. The only thing that is good about Golem in this case is that with the use of the trainer, you go to 180 damage. So that's going to pretty much one-hit KO anything in the game that does not have a cape on it. So that is the advantage of using Golem, but again, I don't think it is consistent enough to take advantage of the trainer. The others are Vikavolt, that it is a stage 2 also. Only 2 energy, attack for 70, and that in my opinion is not enough damage. It also prevents the use of items, so that could be a really cool effect, but then again 70 damage is not enough damage with this amount of hit points to justify the use of this Pokemon. Stage 2, again, Rare Candy might be a little bit better now, but I'm not convinced. And the other one is Togedemaru, and I think this one is kind of like a good card, like generic card, basic Pokemon, only 1 energy and you're going to hit 20, but you flip the coin, if you get heads, you go to 50, and with the use of the trainer, it can go up to 80 points of damage. And in my opinion, 80 points of damage on first turn with only 1 energy, that might be good enough. So we might need to give it a try. I'm not completely convinced that it's the best card ever, but I think it is worth give it a try. Then we have Malo, and this one is one that I'm not sure it is good. Actually, I don't like it that much because the 2 Pokemon that she uses, not the best in the set. So what she does is you're going to completely heal one of these 2 Pokemon, Shiinotic or Serena, and after you completely heal those Pokemon, you're going to remove all the energy that those have. So let's take a look at those 2 Pokemon. So one of those is going to be Shiinotic, it's right here. 100 hit points, that is not too much. 2 energy for 50 damage, not the best. And yeah, the thing is that you flip a coin, defending Pokemon cannot attack next turn. But the problem is, if you use the trainer, yes, you're going to hit Shiinotic for 100, and he's going to get one shot by something like Darkrai, that is really consistent. And after that, you're going to have a Pokemon that's going to die in 1 turn and does not have the energy to attack and does not have the energy to retreat. So it is like a free point for your opponent. On the other side, we have Serena, 130 hit points. The problem is stage 2. Again, Rare Candy might be useful, might not be that useful. We need to see. And the problem for me with Serena is that the damage that Serena does, it's something that depends too much on coin flips. Up to 150 damage, but all depends on coin flips, and that is not my preferred way to play the game. I don't like the cards that depends too much on luck, so it is not the support for me. After that, we have Lily. That is one of the cards that they revealed on the trailer. Heal for 60 damage to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. It is a lot of healing, and it's going to be really good for stage 2 Pokemon. but still, I'm not too convinced of using stage 2 Pokemon yet. I need to try the rare candy a lot more to have a better idea if it is worth it or not. After that, I think it is important to talk about the items. The first one being Big Malasada, so we're going to be able to heal 10 points of damage and restore any kind of special condition from the active Pokemon. So it is kind of similar to the Pokemon Center Lady. It's an alternative of that card. The difference is that you can use many copies of this on the same turn, or use this and potions at the same time. So you have an alternative, but I don't think it is going to be like the best option ever, because special conditions are not in the metagame so far. So might be good, might not be that good. Fishing Net. You can put one of basic water type Pokemon from your discard into your hand. And this, I think it is supposed to be used with these two cards. Wishy-Wash. And you have like the basic form and the EX form. And the important one is the EX because it says 3 energy hits for 30 plus 40 damage for each copy of himself or the basic form that you have in the bench. So you can hit for up to 150 damage, and that on paper seems really good, but if you think about it, it is not that good because you need 4 cards to be able to do the full hit combo. In that process, you are going to most likely going to lose one of the basic form because his skill is going to be able to call the other copies. And that means that if you're going to play other Pokemon different than these two, you're going to lose consistency on the deck, so you're going to have a worse time trying to get the max amount of damage. And at that point, where are you going to play this card that has like difficulties on the deck building and so many conditions to be able to do damage, and you can just play Gyarados. I mean, that's the way that I'm thinking about it just now. But I don't know, there might be some combos that improves consistency and that can make these cards really good, but I'm not convinced yet. But yeah, I think that's a good use that it is intended for this card. After that, we have like one of the more controversial cards, in my opinion, in the set, and that is Rare Candy. Yes, Rare Candy lets you skip the stage 1 to evolve a basic into a stage 2, and that sounds great, but let's be honest, the problem is about consistency and also speed. So the normal evolution line, you're going to need 3 Pokemon and 3 turns to complete. With the Rare Candy, you're still going to need 3 cards. A basic, the stage 2, and Rare Candy. And you need the stage 2 in the hand. So that is still a 3-card combo. So unless you're using something like a Sprigatito that can search for Mescarada, you're not going to take like the full advantage of this card. So in my opinion, unless in the future we get a card that allows you to search for the stage 2 directly, or directly look for the Rare Candy, this is just like an alternative for the evolution line, and is not always going to feel like an improvement consistency. Like sometimes you're going to play a stage 2 Pokemon deck, and you're going to grab all the cards, and you're going to leave the Rare Candy in the bottom of the deck, and that's not going to feel that good. So yeah, I have some issues with this card. So I will suggest you to be careful if you're trying to spend your resources just for this card and the promises. This card might not fill your expectations yet, so wait a little bit before you spend your resources. After that, we have Rotom decks that, to be honest, if you have the space for the Rotom deck, you can play any other thing, it will be better. Poison Barf is like an alternative to the helmet. You know, this is going to be like a Pokemon tool that you're going to place on the active Pokemon. If they attack your Pokemon, you're going to poison the attacker. So alternative to the helmet might be good or might not be that good, depends in my opinion on how much you're going to be seeing Arceus on the metagame, but also this new card. Comfy, because the ability says, each of your Pokemon that has an Psychic Energy attached recovers from any special condition and cannot be affected by special conditions. So it is a second card that is going to make these kind of cards that play special conditions as useful. After that, we have a Leaf Cape that is just an improved cape for grass type Pokemon. So instead of giving a plus 20, you're going to have a plus 30. And that's all for the Pokemon tools. Now we can talk about some other cards from top to bottom. We're going to start like from the ones that I seem to be like a little bit more interesting to me, and I'm going to give you my opinion about those. So quickly, Valorant Executor, it's like a Pokemon that's going to hit for 150, but it all depends on a coin flip, so it might be cool for some fun decks, but in my opinion not consistent enough to see metagame. The next one will be the CDY. This one is one of the cards that actually caught my eye because the first attack that it has, it's really interesting to me. First, notice that it is colorless, so maybe there's a hidden combo that I don't know yet that might be useful, but the important thing is what the attack actually does. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Any Pokemon, even in the bench. So, what if you attack first with Rowlet, that hits for 10 to any Pokemon, even in the bench, then you evolve to the CDI and you can finish anything that has 100 or less. So I think the CDI is going to be a really cool card. I think it's going to see a lot of play, at least in the first weeks. Then we need to see if Rare Candy is good enough. And this one is going to combo really well with this one, Lurantis. And this one is going to do 20 hit points of damage to every Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field. And to me, that is really good, opens many Cyrus plays, so I think you should keep an eye on this one. Elisabeth, it is an awful card, don't even look at it. To me, in my opinion, it's really bad. And Hourglasses EX, it is a Pokemon that is kind of decent, 140 hit points. It is good, it's in the average of the previous metagame. And 80 points of damage, it is not bad. The good thing about this attack is during the opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon cannot retreat. So something like a Narpak kind of effects, and that is kind of pretty good. You can finish many Pokemon with this. But again, the hit points, I'm not sure if it is worth it to just play that. It might be getting one-shot kind of frequently in the current meta, or what I expect the meta to become. After this, we can move to the Fire-type Pokemons. Incineroar is the only one that actually caught my eye, and when you see this card, you see a Stage 2 Fire Pokemon. And in that case, I need to compare this one with the Charizard EX that we have, the stock version of Charizard. So it is kind of better in some ways. Yes, technically it has less hit points because to take full advantage of the second attack, you need to have some damage on this Pokemon. So technically a little bit less hit points. And the damage you're going to do with only one attack is less. It goes to up to 140. With Charizard you can go for up to 150. So a little bit less of one hit damage. But in general, through the evolution line, Incineroar is going to do way more damage because you're going to be able to attack with Litten, then attack with the basic attack Fire Fang and burn the opponent, so that's all plus 20 damage each turn. And on top of that, once you have the energy enough, you're going to attack for 140. The difference with Charizard is just Charizard cannot attack in the same turn as he's going to build up the energy. And they both need the exact same amount of time or turns to build the energy that they need. So in my opinion, Incineroar might be a little bit better. So if you were waiting to play Charizard, maybe this one is a better option. About the Water-type Pokemons, the ones that caught my attention were Vulpix with Ninetales. Vulpix is going to be able to use his skill to build energy for Ninetales, so technically Ninetales only needs 2 real energy to start attacking for 60 points. That 3 energy for 60 seems like not good enough, but remember that Water-type Pokemons have many ways to actually build energy fast, even more with Vulpix, and on top of that, you're going to be able to do 20 damage to each of the opponent's bench Pokemon. So 3 energy for up to 120 damage. So to me that seems quite good, and so also opens a Cyrus play, so I think we should keep an eye on this one. The other one will be Primarina, but in my opinion this is not a good card, or at least not good enough. Yes, you're going to be able to heal every water Pokemon for 30, but again it is a stage 2, I don't think that it is worth all these spaces in the deck just to heal 30. And on top of that, 60 damage, it is not enough in my opinion. Abominable, it is a Pokemon that is actually really cool because it is a lot of hit points and only 1 energy to start making damage. The way that he works, it's similar to Togeki's. You need to attack once and then the next attack is going to hit for double. So first time is going to be 40, next time is going to be 80 for a total in 2 turns of 120. And that's the catch, 120 in 2 turns. It is not that good in my opinion. But again, only 1 energy, it is good. So maybe we just need to give it a try, test it a little bit to see if it is good enough to be seen in the metagame. After that, we have the electric Pokemon, and in this one, there's only 2 that actually caught my eye, that caught my attention, and I think they're going to be kind of really interesting. The first one being Raichu EX, the Alolan version. The ability says Psychic 60 damage plus 30 extra damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So something similar to Old Alakazam or Galate, if you're more familiar with those. So I think it's going to be a lot of damage for them, but the most important part for me is that the energy cost, it is not that much, and it is colorless. So being colorless means that you're going to be able to match this card with cards like Manaphy, cards like Giratina, and they're going to pair well. They're going to be able to work together in the same deck. So I'm really excited to see this card in the metagame. And the other one is going to be the electric version of Oricorio, because the ability is quite interesting. It says prevents all damage that come to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. Only attacks, no abilities. So even then, if you think about it, you're going to face, for example, a Giratina. Giratina deck, with Darkrai. So they only use basic EX Pokemon. So the only way that they have to make damage to Oricorio, it's placing energy on Darkrai to make damage, right? That's the way that I look at this card, or the way that I understand it. So you're just negating all the damage from that deck. Nothing they can do about it. That's the way they understand this card. After that, we have the Psychic ones. Here, I don't see many things that look really promising. I mean, we have Bennett, that is kind of like a troll card that I would like to try just on a troll deck. And the skill says only 1 energy, 30 damage, stage 1. During the opponent's, during your opponent's next turn, they can't take any energy from the energy zone and attach that to the active Pokemon. So being a stage 1, that might be a little bit too late for this skill, but at the same time, think about playing this with the Team Rocket Ground. So you're going to remove the energy, and on top of that, you're not going to allow them to build more energy on the active spot. And that can be kind of fun, like a troll deck, but not sure it is going to be good enough to see it in the metagame. Other than that, Comfy, we already talked about this, negating the opportunity to special condition Pokemon. And after that, we will see Lunala. And again, I'm not sure if this is going to be good enough. I don't see any cards in the entire set that makes Lunala extremely good to play. I don't think it is. I mean, it's going to be fun to play. You might see it like in a deck with Giratina and Mewtwo, but I don't think it is a better alternative to something like Giratina with Darkrai. Remember that Giratina with Darkrai, it's able to make consistent 150 damage. If you replace that with Lunala, well, yeah, you have more flexibility in the way that you play your energy, but the damage ceiling is a little bit lower. So I'm not convinced. Yes, it looks a little bit tanky, and that's an advantage, but not sure that is enough. After that, we have the Darkrai, the Dark type Pokemons, because in the Fighting type, well, let's see. In the Fighting type, we have Hariyama, that is a stage 1, only 2 energy to hit for 50. That is like, at first sight, not that good, but every time you attack, you're going to force the active Pokemon to move to the bench. So that might be interesting to play. Might be a fun addition into some Fighting type decks, but I don't think it's going to be good enough. Conkeldurr is an interesting one. The ability says, like, if you're going to be knocked out, instead of that, you're going to flip a coin. If you hit heads, the Pokemon is not going to die. It's going to just remain at 10 hit points. That seems like a kind of immortality hack if you hit heads all the time, but I'm not sure how does it work when you attack into, for example, a Pokemon that has a Rocky Helmet. Are you still going to die anyways because of the Rocky Helmet? Maybe. But if you are facing a deck that plays Darkrai, yes, you're going to survive one turn with 10 hit points. But the next turn, you're just going to get the damage from Darkrai, and that's an ability, not an attack, so you're still going to die, right? So, might be fun for some fun type decks, but maybe not good enough. Passimian, again, really low hit points for an EX Pokemon that's going to give away 2 points for free to her opponent. 2 energy to hits for 60, not convincing enough. The skill, or I mean the ability, it is quite interesting. It says that as soon as this Pokemon is knocked out, you're going to remove all the Fighting type energy that you have, and you're going to move it to one Pokemon on the bench. And that seems interesting at first glance, but again, it's going to die really fast because it only has 130, and that's 2 free points to your opponent. I don't think it is worth it. You can try it. Maybe we need to test this a little bit more, but I don't think it's good enough. And after that, we have, for the dark types, Muk. Again, really fun, really troll, the most toxic card in the game. Every time that you're going to attack, you're going to add a new state condition to the opponent. Sleep, born, confused, I don't know, paralyzed, every time a new one. But again, many decks are going to survive this, and we have many cards that are going to help us to get rid of that. So sadly, I think it's not going to be like the best card ever, but it's going to be really fun, like a fun type deck, and it's going to work really well with Absol. Absol is going to do only 20 damage, but if the opponent Pokemon has any state condition, he's going to hit for 60 more, so 80 points of damage on top of the state condition of a Pokemon. I think that will be good if it was not like so easy to get rid of the state conditions. Remember that it's not only the Malasada, it's not only the Pokemon Center Lady, also if you move the Pokemon to the back, it's going to heal, if you evolve a Pokemon, it's going to heal, so kind of tough. From the metal, here we could see the most interesting card in the entire set, Solgaleo, in my opinion. Excellent skill, really low attack energy cost, also really huge hit point pool, and the ability is really good. You're just going to at any point move this Pokemon from the bench to the active spot, so you're not going to be too concerned about the retreat cost energy of other Pokemon in your deck. So I think it is probably the best card in the set. We have to keep an eye on this one and see how it's going to perform in the actual tournaments through the weekend, for example, and then we're going to see if it is worth it or not. Magearna, another Pokemon that I think is going to be really good, 40 hit points on the basic attack, but if the active Pokemon has an ability, I mean the active Pokemon of your opponent has an ability, it's going to hit for 40 more damage. So again, 80 damage on basically any EX Pokemon in the game. That is important in my opinion. So we should keep an eye on this one. From the Dragons, I don't think any of this one is really good. Maybe Trampa because it has colorless energy, but 70 damage for 2 colorless, I think we have better options because this is conditional. After that, I think that is going to be the most important cards. I don't see any other card that is especially like really important for the metagame. Like Komala might be fun, but I think it's just like a gimmick Pokemon that, yeah, it's going to be able to do 70 damage for 2 colorless, but again, depends on Malasada, depends on Pokemon Central Lady. So I think that's going to be it for the basic analysis of the set. So just to recap, the cards that I think are the most important ones, or at least the ones that caught my attention a little bit more than the others, were Guzma, Lily, after that Solgaleo, because it might be the best card in the set. I really like the options or possibilities of Raichu, and after those, Incineroar and the Decidueye. Those are the cards that got my attention more than the others, so maybe I'm going to just start my pack openings on the Solgaleo because 4 of those cards that I mentioned are on those packs. And then I'm going to move to Lunalas just to make sure that I have at least 2 copies of Guzma, because I think that card is going to be really important. And that's just the way that I'm going to be doing the pack opening on my end. But in the end, I'm still not convinced that Rare Candy is going to be as big of a game changer as some people have said. And since this set has a really heavy focus on the Stage 2 Pokemon, I will suggest all of you to please be careful and do not expend all your hourglasses just yet. Wait for us a few days, wait for the results of the competitive tournaments, and then you can analyze if this set is worth enough for you. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I can see you in other videos as well. Bye, have a good day.